Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of Tomatin 12-year-old. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my review of Tomatin 12-year-old. Tomatin 12-year-old is a single malt Scotch whisky from the Highland region of Scotland, and the distillery dates back to 1897. This particular whisky is aged in ex-bourbon and sherry casks. It's 43% ABV and it retails for around the £48 mark. Should we find out what it tastes like? On to the whisky. So before I start nosing and tasting, let's have a quick look at the colour. I'd say that is like a rose gold, but potentially this does have added colouring as it doesn't state its natural colour on the bottle. Let's start with the nose. Right, so the first thing I get with this is like malty cereal. Then it becomes quite sweet. I'm getting like boiled sweets, really sugary. There's a hint of sandalwood in there. And then it starts to become sort of like naturally fruity. I'm getting like orchard fruits, like red apples. There's like vanilla sweetness in there as well. Some caramel. I'd also say there's like a hint of linseed in there, and maybe even some juniper as well. Let's move on to the palate. Yeah, so just like on the nose, the first thing I get with this is cereal. There's definitely some grains in there. It's definitely quite light and fruity to start. It's not too punchy or dominant. There's red fruit, I'd say, which makes it slightly jammy. That must come from the sherry influence. Really is nice and nice and sweet and fruity. Let's have another sip. Yeah, so I'm starting to get some heat now, a little bit of pepper. I'm also getting sort of slightly tannic note from that sherry, a little bit drying on the mouth. I'm getting some more fruit now. I'm getting like pears, like like poached pears, like cooked pears, and there's also a slightly metallic note in there as well. Nothing that concerns me, nothing off-putting, but it does have a slight metallic tang. Let's have one final sip. Yeah, the more you drink this, the more starts to happen with the palate. There's definitely lots more going on now. There is a little bit of barrel spice, barrel char, really tingles on the palate. There's a little bit of tobacco in there, like hand rolling tobacco. There's some more fruitiness, like tropical fruit, and there's also some like honey sweetness that sort of lingers in the background, and I'd say it's also slightly floral. In terms of finish, well, I'd say it's a medium length finish. There is some heat, there is some pepper, there is a little bit of dryness. Those sort of tannic notes are lingering, but only lightly in the background, and I'd say the dominant flavour that sort of continues is like red fruits, which is really nice. In terms of value, well, as I said, this retails for around the £48 mark, which does seem a little bit on the high side, but I think that sort of retail price isn't necessarily adhered to by a lot of retailers, especially online retailers. They do tend to be a bit more competitive. I think you can regularly find this around the £40 mark and sometimes lower than that, but I have recently seen it as low as 20 something pounds, so a touch lower than its younger sibling, the Tomatin Legacy. Obviously this retails for a third more than Legacy. I think as an everyday dram, I think I prefer the Legacy. I like its youthfulness, I like the sort of fizziness that it has. Obviously it's ex-bourbon only, but this is nice. This is well rounded, it's got a nice fruity character. I think the sherry isn't overly dominant. I think the fact that it brings sort of tropical fruits and orchard fruits, you know, not necessarily just stone fruits, like you'd often get with sherry influenced whiskies. You know, I think this is well rounded, and I think for the right price, I think if this was £35, I'd probably buy it again. I think it's definitely a nice, well-rounded, and I think at 43% it has a little bit of character, a little bit of a kick. It's not too soft, so yeah, it's a nice, well-rounded dram, and I think it's a good core range distillery offering from the guys at Tomatin. If you've tried this, let me know in the comments. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and see if you agree with me, disagree with me, or, well, if you tried a different Tomatin that you think I should try instead, then also let me know. Or maybe you've got a different 12-year-old whiskey that you think I should try instead. Hopefully you found this useful, and I'll see you again next time. Stauncher.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.